Hey everyone, good evening. Welcome back. How is everyone doing? Welcome back to Dragon Age Inquisition. Um, as the thumbnail and my earlier post may have indicated, I've decided to change my plans just a little bit as to what to do next in the game because I think it's appropriate for what is basically Mardi Gras season.
Worship.
Because we have two major quests coming up, like right now. The game here at this stage, right when we get to Skyhold and we get to the next major plot developments, goes in two different directions. One is the direction we have been going, investigating the Grey Wardens, this whole army of demons that are supposedly going to sweep across Orlais, that whole thing. Big problem and all that. The other thing to do is someone has infiltrated, apparently, the court of Orlais. And so we have to go and warn the Empress that that this army is coming. There's an infiltrator. That there's political intrigue and tension and a budding civil war. Actually, a burning civil war, I should say. All that sort of thing, plus a big, fancy masquerade ball in Orlesian fashion. So there's that too. I figure that probably probably the more appropriate thing to do for the last Thursday of Mardi Gras, because next Tuesday is Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras proper. And then after that, our next Thursday stream for this game is going to be the first Thursday of Lent, right after Ash Wednesday. So that'll be quite the somber time, and that seems like a more appropriate time. Keep dealing with the equally dark and somber Grey Wardens and their deals with demons, and possibly dealing with a giant, scary spider fear demon. No spoilers, though.
Inquisitor.
Anyway, no, nothing
As you were.
new
Of
there.
course, Inquisitor.
Inquisitor.
Inquisitor. Who are you? I don't actually know who you are. Oh, hey. Yeah, Chantry Garden. So upgrading the courtyard to a beautiful Chantry Garden upgrades the garden to a chantry, bringing hope to all who seek it, a functional upgrade that brings a potential resource gain from the inspired, including gold from tides. Yeah. O make her hear my cry, guide me through the blackest nights, steel my heart against the temptations of the wicked, make me rest in the warmest places. O Creator, see me kneel, for I walk only where you would bid me stand only in places where you have blessed, sing only the words you place in my throat. My Maker, know my heart, take from me a life of sorrow, lift from me a world of pain, judge me worthy of your endless pride. My Creator, judge me whole, find me well within your grace. Touch me with fire that I be cleansed. Tell me I have sung to your approval. O Maker, hear my cry. Seat me by your side in death. Make me one with your glory, and let the world once more see your favor. For you are the fire at the heart of the world, and comfort is only yours to give. Hi, Kevin. Happy Thursday to you, too. Welcome. Like I said, I have said this before, and I will keep saying it, that I really like the sort of religious flavor that the Chantry has. It is very, very realistically and properly monotheistic. It is well done, especially from a modern big Silicon Valley gaming company like BioWare, that in other places in particular has done a really crappy job let's say just depicting religion. Let's be nice.
Your worship.
Who is this? I don't know who that is. Ren. Oh. Andraste. Right of the Maker, though I am flesh, your light is ever present, and those I have called they remember, and they shall endure. I sing with them the chant, and all will know we are yours, and none will stand before us. Canticle of Trials. Anyway, though. Like I said, I like it a great deal, and it's also very surprising coming from a company like BioWare, who has really floundered in other places to depict religion realistically well. Kevin says that was very psalmist. Yeah, absolutely. They do a great job of of making the chant of light very. The whole thing is very psalmist, really. Um, there's some that is slightly closer to something you might see in Acts, some of the story of Andraste's life, but even that is very, very poetic, way more so than you'd get in especially almost any part of the New Testament. It's very settled in the wisdom literature, which I love. It's but yeah, like I've said this before when we were playing Mass Effect, that Ashley is supposed to be the sort of token religious character. She did not last long in our playthrough, unfortunately. I do like her, but token religious character for BioWare means has a vague idea that maybe there's something beyond the physical world. And I was like, that has nothing to do with religion at all. That has something really, like I said, vaguely to do with natural theology at best. This, on the other hand, is very
Inquisitor,
religious
you have finally
in the proper
come
sense.
into your own. The
Indeed.
Maker has put you on a difficult path. I pray you walk it safely.
I remember our talk out there before we found Skyhold. It wasn't just the Maker who put me on this path, was it?
The Inquisitor could never have been Cassandra, or Leliana, or me for that matter. We are too political, too tied to the Chantry and all its failings. But I did not make you stand against Corypheus. I did not make you risk death to save the people of Haven. Only you could be the Inquisitor. I only pray the power of the Inquisition is enough.
Yeah, First of all, Sable's backstory is that of a noble family who has very close ties to the Chantry. So I don't know about that whole. Well, you're not closely tied to the Chantry and her political machinations. I guess kind of. As a noble in her position of her stature, she kind of is relatively, but at the same time, she's not an actual Chantry sister or mother or hold a real position in the Chantry, that sort of thing. So I guess so. That said, I think again, this is another, like I've said before, whenever I mention anything like this, streams is much smoother than the last few weeks. Awesome, good. I changed very little. I bumped down the graphics very slightly, from like optimal maximum to very high or something like that, whatever it is. And I think that's making the difference. And I thought it would mess with render distances, but I can still see those flags flopping in the wind, like in the ridiculously far distance. I'm surprised. Anyway, this game runs hot, but it does a spectacular job, especially given that this was BioWare's like first shot at the Frostbite engine. And their second shot at the Frostbite engine was Andromeda. And this one does much better. They did much better here. They did great with vistas, like scenery type stuff in Andromeda, but here, I'm surprised how well they did this. Anyway, ooh, hi teleport, man. Maybe I spoke too soon. But anyway, I was saying I like there is this really strong element of divine providence here. Like, Sable, that is meant to be the Inquisitor. It's meant to be on this path, and it's meant to be winning. That's not something you see done very often in games, other than like the tired chosen one tropes that often get subverted more often than not. And even here, they kind of subvert it, but they also kind of don't. We'll see about that. But at the same time, like I said, it's you get the very subtle feeling that you're on God's side, or the Maker's side, as it were.
I'll do my best to earn this.
You earned this in Haven. The Maker has chosen you to deliver us from Corypheus. You have the faith and support of everyone here. Never forget that. Now, was there anything else?
Do you know who the Grand Clerics will choose as the next Divine?
It is a difficult decision. All the obvious candidates perished with divine Justinia at the conclave. As Inquisitor, your actions carry weight. You may affect the decision whether you intend to or not. Whoever is chosen needs your support. No one else has accomplished anything against Corypheus.
What that means is that you can both directly, by like basically just throwing your support behind somebody, and indirectly by making certain decisions, help to decide who the next divine is. And the three choices, the three possibilities are Liliana, Cassandra, and Vivienne. Vivienne being who would be the first mage divine, is an interesting pick because she's oddly the conservative pick. Liliana is the kind of progressive extremist. Cassandra is the slow, steady reformer. Whereas Vivienne. Oh my gosh, why can I not remember her name? Vivienne is, like I said, is the very conservative. Things should remain as they are in the Chantry, and the mages should remain within the circle. But then also, what she begins as what's called the College of Magi as well, which is still under the thumb of the Chantry, but is independent in a sense. It's not directed by the Chantry or something like that. Anyway, it's a really interesting sort of trilemma. It's something we'll wind up discussing as we go forward.
I don't believe I've had the chance to speak candidly with the revered mother. Can you tell me about the Chantry?
I presume you mean deeper questions about the organization itself. I
Here we go.
trust the Chantry at Ostwick taught you the basics.
Well, yeah, this ought to give us some interesting stuff.
Why does the Chantry allow only human women to become priestesses?
The official doctrine is that elves and dwarves have turned further from the Maker than humanity. And as for men, the chant holds that they are more vulnerable to anger or passion. But in truth, it is simply political, added after Andreste's death, like too many of our beliefs.
Yeah, see, I wish they hadn't gone that route.
Revered mother.
I actually didn't realize that they went that way. That men are too passionate, too hot-headed, and that elves and dwarves are basically less holy, let's say, than humans. Further from the Maker, turned further away. Well, that might be true. Culturally speaking, elves and dwarves have their own religious practices, separate from humans, and separate from the Chantry, and separate from the other sort of human religious stuff. Sorry about that was weird. Hold on. Okay. No, I think we're fine. I'll keep an eye on it, though. I might want to fiddle with it just a little bit more, because I didn't test this out. Might want to fiddle with it a little bit more before we go into the next major quest item thing. We'll see, though. I'll keep an eye on it. Anyway, though, like I was saying, that it made more sense to me.
To save lives. What could be more important?
The hospital. Or hospital area. I forget, did we get the tower unlocked? Or no? No, let's go check. Anyway, though, it's
cleared after. Don't need squires losing feet.
my sort of made up explanation, the explanation that I had come up with, that I thought was actually what they used, was a kind of parallel to the real world reason why priests are only men, which is that they perform the sacraments, and they enact the sacraments and perform various religious ritual in persona Christi, in the person of Christ, and Christ was a man. This is distinguishable from here. I mean, it's a sort of inverted parallel, I guess. Maybe that's a weird phrase. You get the idea. it's similar in a sense to how I assumed that that women were priests in the Chantry because they were acting in the person of Andraste, particularly in her in her relationship representing the church, her relationship to the Maker as the bride of the Maker, which is again a weird similarity to the church, the real church, and her position as bride of Christ, and that the church, we qua the church, are feminine in relation to Christ, or something along those lines, or something like that. I don't know the exact language of this offhand, and I might be misspeaking some of this a little bit. Ecclesiology is not exactly my my specialization, but I thought that was what was going on, and that was why it was women as priests and in positions of power in the Chantry, especially as the divine. But if that's the explanation, that seems a little less satisfactory and a little less robust, and maybe a little more political. I don't know. But I think still we're Chantry loyalists here, so we're gonna do the Templar. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to try and fix the game. Give me a minute. But let's make this into a Templar tower. Look at that. Look at that. I don't usually do this. We did side with the mages, so the mages are here helping us.
Now we're in Inquisition.
But now we also have Templars helping us as well. There's a sword. That seems fine. Oh, these Templars. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Alright, let me just go up to the top of the tower, save, exit, and reopen the game. This will take me a few minutes so I can vamp about stuff. That'll be fine. There's plenty of stuff going on nowadays to talk about. Don't you worry. There is plenty going on for us to talk about, so I'm not concerned about that. Right, exit. Really quick, and then we will fix our... Oh no, I'm gonna get copy struck again for the music, aren't I? I'm gonna have to mute the game. Hold on. I'm really sorry about that, but yep, I'm muting the game for this. While I do this, graphics. Let's put it to high. There we go. I had it custom, but let me just reset high. Why is it automatic? What? Okay. Quit. Let's bring back in. Anyway, while we're doing this, this will take a couple of minutes. So while this is happening, what? It's in the process of closing. Sorry. Tried to reopen it too soon. Here we go. What? Oh, it's still open. I'll work on this. Anyway, so been a couple of things going on, very obviously. The whole apparently big war thing, which is ridiculous, obviously. Ridiculous not in the sense that there's not actually war, it's just ridiculous that it's happening. And of course, there's plenty of blame to go around, and as I've probably said before, that everyone is turning this into a sort of political nightmare, trying to score points with it. I would say except a few of the good guys, but even, I mean, you could make an argument that even they are, but I'm hearing a lot of things like things like from Trump supporters that, well, Trump wouldn't have, or Putin wouldn't have had this attitude if Trump were in office, or stuff from Biden people and lefties and Democrats and such, like, oh, the right goes again, supporting a authoritarian dictator, or worse, supporting a white authoritarian dictator or a white nationalist, whatever, basically calling Putin a white nationalist. I'm just like, what is wrong with you people? The world is about to be, well, the world not is about to be. That's wildly overstating. There is a chance that the world could be plunged into a third world war or far worse. So again, it's a very small chance, honestly. I don't. Wow, that was quick. Okay, cool. That's probably a little better. Yeah. All right, let's see. Let's see what happens. Like I said, this is the kind of thing where if things go the wrong way and the wrong people are unbelievably stupid, which, oh boy, there are a lot of these people who are really good at being unbelievably stupid, so I wouldn't put it past them. This is the kind of thing that could result in the literal end of humanity, kind of thing. Or maybe more likely, probably more likely, it'll end with Putin, an authoritarian dictator, madman, basically, annexing maybe Ukraine, maybe part of Ukraine, maybe more of Eastern Europe. This could mean the dissolution of NATO. This could mean weird things for NATO. I don't know exactly what it could mean for NATO, which, I mean, a lot of this is the fault of NATO and a lot of aggressive actions there, and that at least inspired a lot of this. Hold on, let me turn the sound back on. I think we're good. There we go. But it's all
we track Derriman to Adamant Fortress.
Very.
Hopefully we can stop this madness before it goes any further.
How do I? Oh, there we go. It's all very fools on every side kind of thing, especially fools at the top. We're doing very silly, very unfortunate, very dangerous and deadly things that are slaughtering innocents, and there's a good chance of slaughtering a lot more innocents. Nobody should like any side of that.
How could the Wardens willingly sacrifice their own members to summon demons?
What does that do?
Grey Wardens leave their lives behind and dedicate themselves to fighting the Blight, no matter the cost. Our actions may be brutal, even reprehensible, but we know that the alternative is worse. The rituals, the sacrifices. It's too far, even for me. But I can understand them making the decision. Had I not known Corypheus was involved, I might have bowed my head and accepted my orders.
We'll talk later.
Kevin says, yeah, I think it's foolish to think Putin wouldn't want this if Trump was in. Putin is just obviously securing resources, diminishing military capacity, and doing the big flex. It's bad. Yeah. I mean, Putin has wanted Ukraine for decades. Not without reason. It's a warm water port. That's a big deal. You know? I get it. It makes sense. Still abjectly evil. Imperialist and all of those bad words. But, you know, I understand. Now, the Donbass region, the region that he was kind of saber-rattling a lot about, and the region that he pushed into first, that's a weird little area that I didn't expect that he would take just by itself, and it looks like he isn't. Because from everything I was hearing about the place, it is, yeah, it's Russian majority, like ethnic and linguistic Russian majority, but at the same time, it's also very old. It's very like population-wise and also technology-wise and infrastructure-wise, and it would also throw off a lot of the balance of power in Ukrainian politics.
They're looking at assault options now in the war room.
Thanks for coming.
You did well, Varric.
Why are you guys talking to each other like this?
Just who we need.
Oh, it's been great. Murderous wardens, archdemon attacks, plenty of blood mages and crazy Templars. Just like home.
I know how much you hated leaving Kirkwall.
This is the ass end of Thetis.
You know they eat snails here? Still, I think I need to finish this out. If it weren't for me and Bartrand, none of this would have happened. So much for changing our lives.
That's what happens.
That is true. It is your fault.
Things change. You
Hawke,
can't
too, though.
always control how.
Anyway, Kevin said, what really worries me is that if he's comfortable doing it, then there's more to the story. There's always more to the story when it comes to foreign affairs and escalation to war and stuff like that. Everyone was, without a doubt, prepared for this sort of thing for a very long time, because of course they were. They were prepared and preparing for it for, God, who knows? Who knows? And who knows the degree to which they were preparing and the ways in which they were preparing. There's all sorts of rumors now that I think are actually vaguely plausible that the U.S. intelligence, as well as others, participated in arming and radicalizing a bunch of what are effectively neo-Nazis in Ukraine. Now, it's ironic that that's the same thing that the American left is accusing the Russians of doing over here. That's hilarious, especially if it's true. But I mean, it's stuff like that that these weird little CIA dark ops that turn into powder kegs. Of course things are going to go crazy, and of course things are going to spiral out of control relatively quickly. Because people are trying to maintain control. That's what happens when people try and maintain control. Princess Leia said, right, that more will slip through your fingers the more you tighten your grip. And what have the intelligence agencies of the major world powers been trying to do over the last forever, at least since the end of the Cold War, or at least probably since the end of World War One, but trying desperately to tighten their grip on everything in the world. Anyway, let's see. A report by one of Liliana's agents has given rise to a concern. A group of Orlesian nobles has quietly formed a group they call the Eyes of the Maker. The aims of this group are currently unknown, but the suspicion is that they're a reaction to the Inquisitor's dealings with the Chantry. One stolen letter indicates in coded language that the Inquisition's treatment of clerics following the death of the Divine has been shameful and deserving of reprisal. Thorough investigation from Liliana, although it'll take time. Unconvinced, it's more than posturing. Send them a message, ask to meet, guarantee of safe passage, like here they want. That seems done. That seems dumb. Deal with it forcefully before nobles grow in power. No, let's go with Liliana. Let's be subtle.
Inquisitor.
My investigation into the Eyes of the Maker proved my first assumption true. It's not a true organization at all, but the product of a single zealous nobleman trying and thus far failing to recruit opponents to the Inquisition by making his group sound previously established. A single strike into the pants of one Lord Benoit Gandilo has ensured this goes no further. My agents recovered some goods, which Lord Benoit was undoubtedly planning to use as bribes. Nice. Crap. I have to go sell that. Be right back. Because I need for this quest for the Wicked Eyes and Wicked Hearts, the quest in the Orlesian Masquerade Ball. You need a pretty much empty inventory because there's tons of loot, tons of treasure, and I don't want to have a full inventory and lose out on stuff. So, anyway. No, not. I meant to jump. Hate that I love that you can jump. I hate that jump and interact are the same button. Okay. Let's go. But yeah. The other couple of things that I find interesting is I've recently been having an exchange with some university administrators, middle management-y types, not necessarily real bigwigs. But somebody on the committee at St. Leo, who's the committee that's responsible for deciding the pandemic policies and mitigation stuff and all of that stuff. Guy I've been talking to at least, and I don't know the composition of the rest of the committee because that's all very secretive. Of course it is, like everything is. The guy I've been talking to is a doctor of business administration, which is a degree, I guess. Yeah, he has an administrative position and not a teaching position, I should also note. From everything I've heard from everyone I know and respect about this sort of thing in academia, these are precisely the kind of people who are the worst of the worst in terms of busybodies. Especially at the university level, but really at any organizational level where there's a sort of free-floating bureaucracy that sits there and does its own thing policy-wise. You know, it's the best way of analogizing it. It's the same impulse that gives rise to diversity, inclusion, and equity committees. It's the whole, like, let's hire a bunch of people who have degrees in nothing in particular, business or whatever, and give them authority over some policies, and it'll make us look good, and it'll probably fend off lawsuits, and it'll do things like give us good press, and all, you know, that sort of deal. It doesn't usually work out that way, but it doesn't necessarily, at least. Usually how it turns out is that they come up with insane policies that are explicitly insane, that are publicly and obviously insane, that they will, if pressed enough, and I've pressed this guy quite a bit, maybe to a degree that was harsh, and I'd rather not have done that, because he's just a working guy regardless. He's not in a good spot, to be fair. He's in a tough spot. So I didn't want to be, you know, hostile about this to anyone. But in any case, he did wind up admitting several things that I find to be utterly fascinating. That I'm planning on, again, I'm working on a research project on this very phenomenon, using our case of the policy of wearing masks in the classroom as a particular example. And part of what he confirmed for me is an interesting set of information. One is that there is no information available and no information used. That meaning no research, no documentation, no bibliography, no citations, and no publications were used whatsoever in the deciding of the policy. Nothing. The only thing he referred to, and he referred to it very vaguely and would not actually give me numbers or even a source in particular, was CDC data, which according to him is rapidly changing, and so he doesn't have the data. This tells me that it's based on nothing, but that's not true. It suggests it's based on nothing. He also could not, because there was none, provide a rationale for how this data in particular that he was referring to led to the policy of masks being required in the classrooms exclusively and recommended elsewhere. There was no rationale that he could present whatsoever for how the information and the data that they had led to that policy. None. There was no connection. There was no set of conditions laid out, anything like that. Now, I also found out that this policy is, at least currently, set to be in place for the duration of the semester, and that is apparently quite the commitment they've made, especially after changing the policy 3 times in 4 weeks. Beginning of the semester, the policy became set in stone for the rest of the semester now, and of course this leads to an explicit, direct, and obvious logical contradiction. The claim that the policy is based on the CDC data, which, according to him, is constantly changing. That should necessarily mean that if the CDC data is what determines the policy, and the CDC data is constantly changing, the policy would be constantly changing. However, the policy is set in stone for a long duration of time. And so therefore, it is either not based on the data, which is the case. That's the case based on everything else I've been hearing, everything else I've been told. Or, more charitably, but delusionally, that they had made an assumption, which is undue, of course, that the data would not be changing, and then it changed, and then they did not change the policy for whatever reason, which is just as irrational. Or perhaps something else. There is no other real interpretation I could come up with, but other than the fact that it's not based on data, or science, or argumentation, or evidence, or ethics, or anything other than, well, I don't know, I'd like to be charitable. But all I can come up with is either politics or liability, perhaps. And I can't see how it could possibly be liability because we're in Florida. And public universities are prohibited from requiring masks, unlike private universities. I have to say, this is oddly first time maybe ever that I've encountered a situation where a private institution is worse and more arbitrary and tyrannical than a public institution. Never encountered that before in my life. Never had I had the experience working with FedEx, thinking, "Oh man, if only you were working like the post office." Never before have I experienced, even in this particular circumstance, because again, I've taught pretty regularly at both USF, public university, and St. Leo, private university, private Catholic university, and I've never had this kind of capriciousness happen at. Well, that's not true. I've had this kind of capriciousness happen at one, not the other, but not in this direction. Not at all in this direction. And yeah, it speaks to the university culture in general, I think, that is I think, largely overall a problem. Anyway. An assassin is stalking the Empress. Speaking of political machinations and all manner of nonsense, this seems to be almost returning back to the more political nonsense that we were discussing earlier. But anyway, Celine's death would plunge, not purge, or lay into chaos, leaving it an easy target for Corypheus. At the Winter Palace of Helm Shiral, Celine is holding peace talks with her rebellious cousin, Grand Duke Gaspard, under the guise of a grand ball. Every noble in the Empire will attend, making it the perfect place and time for Corypheus' assassin to strike. We can arrange an invitation to attend to keep him from destroying Orlais if we hurry. I have no idea what level I am. Let's do it, though.
We have to reach the Empress before Corypheus. The only question is, how?
We know how. I have our way in. The real question is, where is our enemy hiding? At the urging of Grand Duchess Florian, the Empress is holding a ball. Absolutely everyone will be there. During the festivities, Celine will be meeting for peace talks with the usurper Duke Gaspard and Ambassador Briala.
The assassin must be hiding within one of these factions.
Okay. So 3 major factions.
Do we need to go to the peace talks? The Empress must have personal guards. We could just warn her she's in danger.
We've made the attempt, but
it seems that our messages never reached her. Someone intercepted them.
Oh.
It's better that we don't leave this to chance. If Orlais falls to Corypheus, no
Definitely someone within the palace.
Tell me everything we know about the Empress.
Empress Celine is a renowned diplomat and reformer. She works tirelessly to secure peace for the Empire. Unfortunately, many Orlesians view peace as complacency. She has yet to name an heir, leaving the future of the Empire in doubt if anything happens to her. Especially when the next in line is her cousin Gaspard, who's made few friends on the Council of Heralds.
Celine is surrounded at all times by countless guards, courtiers, servants, and vassals. What better place for an assassin to hide than the Empress's own household?
Kevin says, I'm normally titillated by political machinations, but it's getting expensive. Yeah. Yeah. No, that said, I also think it's almost a little bit comical that, of course, the corporate press is using this as an excuse to blame rising gas prices that have been happening for a year and a half or 2 years or something, on, oh, hey, well, there's problems in Russia and Ukraine, so of course you're... Shut up. We all know you're lying. Stop it. You know you're lying, we know you're lying, and you know that we know you're lying, but you're still doing it. It's this, and I mean, this fits in together with the what we were just talking about with the mask policy stuff. It's so Soviet. Like, everyone knows that it's a lie, and everyone knows that it's irrational nonsense, but no one says it, because you can't say it. Again, for mostly political reasons. It's a disturbing state of being. Highly disturbing. And giving me some anxiety, especially combined with the prospect of nuclear winter, but, you know, that's its own thing. Anyway.
How can Gaspard still be next in line while he wages war against his Empress?
The title Grand Duke indicates that he was a prince before the Empress took the throne.
A very strange title. But okay, fair enough. It's fine. It's Orlais. I'll grant them weird titles.
What do we know about Duke Gaspard?
The man who would have been emperor. He's Celine's cousin, and was first in line to inherit the throne when Emperor Florian died. Celine outmaneuvered him. She won over the Council of Heralds, who hold authority over title disputes. She became empress, and he a general in the Imperial Army. He's well loved by the troops. He's also a chevalier. Most of their number sided with him when he turned on the Empress.
Aren't the Chevaliers part of the army? Why would they follow the Duke?
Most chevaliers are sworn to serve the crown, but that does not give them faith in the person wearing it. The Empress has tried to improve relations with Ferelden and Navarra. The Chevaliers see her as anti-military. They believe Gaspard could lead the Empire back to the glory of Draken's expansion years.
Okay, given that we're playing this tonight, I have to side against Gaspard. He's the warmonger. I can't. I have to go against this bastard. But anyway, we'll see about Briala. But Devin says, in the US, the Gulag is literally just living in proximity to the leftist nags who screech without end. I mean, I don't know about the Gulag, but it's certainly that weird... Michael Malice talks about this a lot, and I'll see if I can find where he talks about it exactly. Maybe put a link or something in the description in the Discord. About this sort of... this Orwellian doublethink, maybe we can call it. Where you have to performatively say certain things that everyone knows are false. Because otherwise you're targeted by the regime, or otherwise whatever. There are things we can and can't say. There are things that all of this stuff, and I mean, everyone has to pretend that for example, everybody has to pretend that that inflation has nothing to do with Federal Reserve. If you want a place in, say, the White House press corps, you can't talk about the Federal Reserve, even though it's primarily responsible for all of inflation. There are other factors, of course, but inflation's the big one. I mean, sorry, the Federal Reserve is the big one. You just can't talk about that. You have to parrot the weird, obviously false, and everyone knows it's false, and everyone knows that everyone knows it's false, but everyone keeps saying it line that, oh, inflation has just been happening, especially in oil and gas prices, because of the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, who are a comparatively small source of our petroleum reserves. Like, what is this? I know what it is. It's the purpose of The purpose of propaganda not as convincing, but as demoralizing. The purpose of propaganda is to convince you that you are the only one who knows, or the only one who thinks the way that you do. And that everyone else around you is willing to go along with the propaganda, even if they think that it's false. And so you will too. It's a pressure thing. It's a conformity thing. It's not about actually getting people to believe what the propaganda posters say. No one believes what propaganda posters say. That'd be ridiculous. It's about getting you to, I mean, we see it as, again, 1984 is a great example of this. It's O'Brien asking Winston how many fingers he's holding up. And if he says anything other than 3, or whatever it is, I forget if it's 2 or 3, whatever, it's 2 or 3. And if he says, just hypothetically, if he says anything other than 3, he gets tortured until he says 3. It's not about actually convincing him that he's holding up 3 fingers. It's getting him to prefer, both mentally and in action, the party over reality. It's blasphemy, essentially. It's getting someone to commit blasphemy against the truth itself. And no, that's it's not something we should ever do. Obviously. Someone says, I can't disagree with the nice old lady at Mass about COVID because of social pressure. Yeah. Right? I mean, you can. You can. And you can say that, you're at a relatively small risk, but it's a risk. It's a risk. Smaller than the common cold at this point, but it's a risk. But for you, it's nothing. It's basically nothing. Like, for me, it's basically nothing. No, it's obvious to everyone at this point. Again, this is to the point where even the CDC is getting to admit. Now they're trying to cover this over by hiding the data, by just blatantly hiding the data. Like, we're not going to share the data in case people misinterpret it. Well, why haven't you been doing that the whole time? You're lying again. We all know it. You know it. You know that we know that you know, etc. Again, it's not about actual manipulation of information. It's not about getting people to believe it. Getting people to agree to it. Manipulation of action, not knowledge. And the nice old lady at Mass, I mean, she might believe it. Maybe. Maybe not. And maybe she needs you to publicly not believe it. For her to say something about it too. No, maybe she's a screeching lefty. That's possible too, but in which case there's no winning her over this side of a miracle, which could happen. Don't rule it out. But anyway, Kevin said, I just watched the episode of Star Trek The Next Generation where Picard is tortured by the Cardassian and asked about the lights. Yeah, coincidence. Yeah, exactly. That's the other really great fictional example of this sort of thing. There are 4 lights. The Cardassian torturer has 4 lights over his head, and he needs that all Picard needs to do to be freed, to return to Starfleet, and everything, is to admit that there are 5 lights. And he won't do it. Because he knows that to do that is to accept the authority of the torturer, in this case the Cardassians, in 1984 it's the party, either way. It's to accept the authority as holding sway over reality, as not being bound by reality. And now we can put it in the context of going further and saying as being as placing themselves above God. It's kind of ultimate hubris, ultimate idolatry, and ultimately therefore blasphemy. It's a rejection of the divine truth. Or the divine qua-truth. Say it however you wish.
Who is this Ambassador Briala?
One more party
An
in play.
ambassador in name only. she has organized the elves of Halam Sharal into an underground army. The Empress invited her to the peace talks in a bid to gain the elves' alliance in the war. That would be scandal enough, without the rumor that Briella is a jilted lover of Celine's. A personal grudge and a network of saboteurs at her command. Promising lead.
Wait, the elven leader is a jilted lover of the Empress.
It's not widely known. Just a rumor whispered among the palace servants a few years ago. If it's true and were to get out, the Empress and an elf. The scandal could destroy Celine's court. Even if a lie, Briella could use it to blackmail the Empress. She has some connection to the throne.
And of course, this being Orlais, it has, like, the fact that they're both women has no bearing on blackmail at all. Because Orlais. Fantasy French people. Tell you what.
You've given me plenty to think about.
With Gaspard and Celine's armies entrenched, we cannot openly march troops to the palace.
My agents will ensure your soldiers get inside. But it must be a few at a time to avoid attention.
Understood. Just give the word, and we'll begin.
Okay. Alright. Let's go for it. Let's do it. This will be fun. I hope the mod worked where I got to replace my formal wear. Oh crap, who do we bring? Gotta bring Vivienne. Cassandra is gonna be there anyway. On the war counts. Blackwall has connections to the Orlesian court to some degree. Not Cole. Maybe not Cole? Well, I don't know. Cole? Oh, man. Who should we bring? Kevin says Francis surrendered. Was that a meme or did that really happen? I saw it. I thought it was a meme, but now that I think about it, that might... I don't know, man. I don't know. Because there is combat here, so I do need to bring a warrior. I need to bring at least one warrior, and it's going to be Cassandra or Blackwall. I'm leaning towards Blackwall. Who else should I bring? Varric's always fun, in general. Could bring Cassandra and Blackwall. Could bring Dorian. It's not that interesting. Okay, it's the meme, Kevin says, but he wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, likewise. Like, I was pretty sure it was a meme, but you never know. Okay, let's bring Blackwall and Cole. I kind of want to bring Cole. Because he does the whole mind-reading thing, and that'd be really fun at a Imperial court. I don't think I've ever brought him on this quest before. I've brought Sarah. She's a mess here. She causes all manner of trouble. And that could be fun. But I also don't want to do that. Yeah, let's not do that. Maybe Cole. Or Varric or Cassandra. What do you think? What do you guys think? What are some thoughts here? Cole could be fun because he reads minds. Cassandra could be fun because she hates this. She hates this. She's going to say how much she hates it. Varric could be fun because he's Varric. He always has something to say. He's the storyteller. Probably not going to bring Solus. I think this is good. Kevin says, I mean, they keep on being France regardless, so why fight? I mean, if you don't fight and you actually surrender, there's at least a chance of becoming Germany. And that's a little better. All right, let's do this weird party that I've never had before. Of Vivienne, Blackwall, and Cole. All right. Oh, here's our old hero of Ferelden. Dalen Amell. Hero of Ferelden, belonged to the Circle of Magi in Ferelden, residing in the Tower of Lakes Calenad for most of his life. First enchanter Irving recommended the hero of to Grey Warden Commander Duncan. Missed it. Don't bring Sarah? Yeah, no. I know. I know what bringing Sarah is like. I've done that before. I don't want to do it again. I think I did it when I played an elf. Because I played once as an elf when I romanced Solus and elf mage.
The political situation in Alam Shira.
Yeah, I brought Sarah, so no. It's annoying.
The Empress fears our presence could sever it. The Grand Duke is only too happy to have us at the ball as his guests, so our invitation comes from him. Whether we act as his allies or upset the balance of power, he gains an opportunity, if not a clear advantage.
Yay! We're wearing the dress instead of the
Inquisitor
ridiculous
Trevelyan, we meet at last. I've heard so much about you. Bringing the rebel mages into the ranks of your army was a brilliant move. Imagine what the Inquisition could accomplish with the full support of the rightful Emperor of Orlais.
Meaning you, of course. Kevin says, I still blame this current situation if the existence of Russia, Germany. They haven't stopped ruining Europe. You're going to have to explain that one to me. How exactly it's Germany's fault that Russia exists. I don't think I follow. Is this like a Holy Roman Empire thing having to do with the czars, or I'm at a loss there. How the existence of Russia is Germany's fault? Or is this about how the First World War gave rise to the Bolshevik Revolution, and that gave rise to our weird alliance with the Soviets against the Nazis, and therefore this is merely a continuation of the Soviet Empire under a new name, or under a semi-new title, or where are we going with this? I can see ways you can make this argument, but it's kind of weird, so convince me. Let's be coy and noble-ish.
And which one was the rightful one again? I keep getting them confused.
The handsome, charming one, of course, my lady.
Shave,
I'm not
sir,
a man
please.
who forgets his friends, Inquisitor. You help me, I'll help you. My lady, are you prepared to shock the court by walking into the Grand Ball with a hateful usurper? They will be telling stories of this into the next age.
You really need to shave. That looks ridiculous. At least, like, either have a beard or don't, man. Make a decision. Anyway.
I can't imagine that crowd has seen any...
I suspect that she intends to disrupt the negotiations. My people have found these ambassadors all over the fortifications. Sabotage seems the least of their crimes.
Okay. I don't trust Briala or her people here either. Then again, I don't know if we're going to carry through the D&D Sable's personality trait of not trusting elves. Maybe, though. Or not liking elves. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe she can trust elves, but not necessarily liking them. I don't know. Either way, still worth investigating.
That sounds like something I should look into.
Be as discreet as possible. I detest the game, but if we do not play it well, our enemies will make us look like villains. We're keeping the court waiting, Inquisitor. Shall we?
You already look like a villain, but...
Is that the Inquisitor?
Not that you're dressed like one.
Don't be absurd.
One of the Trevellians, I've heard.
Court approval. Alright. Bonjour.
Pardon me, my lady. Have you seen a ring anywhere? It
was a gift from the Comtesse Montbelliard, enchanted by the Fomari. I cannot go into the ball without it.
Kevin says, well, they didn't focus on Barbarossa. Instead, split the forces east and west. They could have knocked out the Soviets, then overextended, gotten wiped out by the US and the Brits. Yeah, but they didn't want to do that. Why would they do that? They almost overextended into Russia, too. They just didn't overextend enough to win. They kind of did worst of both worlds, honestly.
Is this ring particularly valuable?
Its worth in coin is not as important as its social value. It was a gift from a member of the Council of Heralds. If she finds out I lost it, she will never forgive me. Not even if I live to be 1,000 years old.
That's a terrible predicament.
If the Comtesse finds out, make her have mercy. Should you happen upon it, I beg you, let me know.
Okay. Really? She left it in a fountain directly behind her.
What am I going to do if I cannot find my ring?
You gained court approval, which is usually a result of finesse, entertaining people, or keeping up appearances. The higher a court approval is, the better. By the way, there's a part of this where there's a time limit, so I'm actually going to have to pause the game to talk with you guys for once, instead of just kind of staring at a pretty vista, so sorry about that in advance. It's going to happen. Evan says, could have been for the good of everyone. They said they hated Marxism so much they should have nutted up.
Is this the ring you were looking for?
I mean, yeah, but
You are a treasure.
they were also a little bit
I cannot
Marxist,
believe
so...
You found it. You have saved me a lifetime of mortification. How can I thank you enough?
Thank the Inquisitor.
It's been too long since I've had any word from Valois.
Is that the Inquisitor?
I mean, no one conflicts with Marxists more than other Marxists. The first shell fountain, Emperor Judicial, the first, commissioned this massive fountain to commemorate House of Valmont's historic victory against Xavier Draken. The 4 lions represent Emperor Alphonse of Valmont, and his 3 younger brothers, Duke Isidore d'Orléans, Duke Yvon de Sévarine, and Duke Stefan of Valmontain, took the field against the usurper. I'm probably, like I said before, like I keep saying, I'm probably not going to read all of those. Anything else I can do while I'm down here?
Is it true the Inquisitor was married out of the faith by Andraste?
Oh, I need a Halist. Oh, God. Oh, no. That's right. There's this whole puzzle in this quest with the Hala statues. There's a certain number of them. And you need a certain number of them to open certain doors. Like that one, you need 1 for it. Hold on. I'm gonna have to look this up and have it somewhere so I can just make sure I know what the heck is going on. Hang on a second. I'm really... All statues died or something. Heard of Stonehala. Okay, cool. Statuettes are used for unlocking doors. Again, there's a certain number of them, and there are not enough to unlock all of the doors. So you have to make sure that you unlock the doors that you need for the quest. And also there are some for unique treasure items and things like that. So, Stone Hala. Okay. Go away, ad. Don't want you. Okay. So there are 10 of them that you can find. Maybe there's 11. Oh, there's 11 out of 10 of them. There's 2 loot boxes in this one, so I can just ignore. That's fine. One requires 3. A Caprice coin behind that one. Members of the council. I need that. Orlesian banner. And yeah, okay, I need that one. So yeah, okay, cool. There's 3. This is 1. 1 for the main quest. Celine's vault. I don't need to reconcile Celine and Briala. Elven locket and loot boxes. I'm not reconciling the 2 of them. No, we'll just kick Briala out. 1 secret document, 1 Caprice coin, naked soldier bound with... We'll see. We'll ignore that. And a thing and stuff. Probably need to do that. Blackmail hunt. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think your loot box and a lightning rune. It's cool that I might need that. That's cool. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that'll help, I think. Okay, cool. So I know not to go to this one, because this one's just uncommon loot boxes that I don't actually need. Alright.
This is a private conversation. Please, leave.
Oh, yes. Let me go eavesdrop. Oh, not there. Oh, a storage key. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to eavesdrop. There we go.
Interesting.
Any word from the front lines?
My spies said the bodies were beyond counting.
Surely the Empress will put an end to the war tonight.
Pray, my friend. If the Maker does not hear us now, just pray.
I know that feeling. Oh, another eavesdrop. Yeah, we already heard. Alright, moving on. Storage keys down here. Pretty sure that gets us 1 Hala and some other stuff. Yeah. Some stuff. Scandalous password. Liliana wants those. Oh, Caprice. Alright. Kevin says we had thunder sleet here yesterday and today. Very post-apocalyptic. Made my sick time very thematic. Thunder sleet. I'm too southern to know what that means. Hala statue. Good.
We can only hope Celine prevails tonight. Gaspard will ruin us all.
I don't need to do that, because that's using up my Hala statue. So I'm gonna go ahead and not do it. I'm gonna throw that Caprice coin in the fountain, if I can. Unless I have to do it in the fountain inside. Sleet with a thunderstorm. Within a thunderstorm. Is that abnormal? I thought that was... See, here's the thing. Being in Florida, I have trouble imagining rain that is not accompanied by a thunderstorm.
We can only hope Celine prevails
Almost all rain,
Inquisitor,
in my experience
please.
down here, is all
I'm
thundery
sure
as
you'd
well.
know how to handle most nobility, but the game is nothing like the Free March's intrigues.
Oh.
It is no simple matter of etiquette and protocol. Every word, every gesture is measured and evaluated for weakness.
Don't they sound delightful? I'm shocked we haven't invited the court to dinner at Skyhold.
The game is like Wicked Grace played to the death. You must never reveal your cards. When you meet the Empress, the eyes of the entire court will be upon you. You are safer staring down Corypheus.
Great. Oh no, I'm not brave enough for politics.
It might be a good idea for the others to hear this warning. Particularly Cole. Assuming you can get him to pay attention.
I'll have a few discreet words. Everything will be fine. And Raste watch over us all.
I've also never actually experienced a sleet storm. That is outside my purview. I mean, since that's abnormal, hail is normally for severe storms, but sleet is exceptionally rare with thunderstorms. That makes sense, actually. That does make sense. Because I know hail is caused by a lot of the same temperature conditions, but with more churning in the upper atmosphere. So that makes sense to me. Oh wait, I should talk over this. I'm sorry. I don't want to. It's so beautiful, such beautiful music that will get me copytismed. Let's leave the party immediately and go skulk around in corners. Like a proper rogue. Ooh, downstairs. Nope. All right.
What is Gaspard up to? It wouldn't surprise me if he brought the Inquisitor here as a prank.
It will take some time to get our men into the palace. I'll alert you when we're ready.
Erica, doesn't he look great dressed up? Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Gaspard never struck me as pious. You must think he gains military advantage with the Inquisition.
I heard Celine was having the entire wing redecorated.
If
but the
nothing
timing
else,
is atrocious.
the Inquisition backing
Why
Gaspard
would she do
makes
such a thing
me
now?
nervous. You know how pious she is.
Redecorating a wing during a
I
party?
hope to tour the royal wing garden.
That sounds like she's hiding something to me, but who knows?
Interesting.
Who are we supposed to eavesdrop on? Kevin says, this February has been very sleety. A very naughty month.
Well, that's useful.
But you're not going to tell us what it is.
How can they call this a vestib?
Interesting.
You're not going to give us the juicy gossip. You're just going to tell us we got scandalous juicy gossip. Why are there Carta
Is
dwarves?
there any progress on the Helmi expedition to Amgarrak?
House Dace remains steadfast in blocking all attempts to get into the Tig.
Oh. That has to do with the DLC that we didn't do for Origins. The Golems of Amgarrak. Amgarrak is a dwarven Tig where... I forget what was special about them, but special golems were made. And it wound up being a big deal that I think there was even a store of... There may have even been a store of golems there. So it became a big deal later on, politically. Okay, sorry.
I wish there was more news coming from the Grand Cathedral.
Good news is becoming an increase.
There's a Russian bot here. Erica, kill it. Is that an appropriate thing to say in current political circumstances? Yeah, whatever, who cares? Kill it. Get rid of it. Be gone. That kind of URL is .today. It's supposed to be.
And now presenting Grand Duke Gaspard de Chalon, and accompanying him, Lady Inquisitor Trevelyan, daughter of Ban Trevelyan of Ostwick.
Ah, the Empress.
Vanquisher of the rebel mages of Ferelden, crusher of the vile apostates of the mage underground.
Remember to smile. This is all for show, my dear.
Champion of the
Thanks.
blessed Andraste herself.
Did you see their faces? Priceless.
Accompanying the Inquisitor, Madame Vivienne, first Enchanter of the Circle of Magi, Enchanter of the Imperial Court,
she's not
Mistress
gonna walk.
of the Duke of Ghislaine.
I love how that's.
Blackwater
I hate
Ru-
how that's public.
Cousin,
Darn it! I should have
my
waited.
dear
And listened.
sister.
Grand Duke.
The fact that she
We
is
are always
a duke's
honored
mistress
that
is
your
just perfectly
presence
public.
graces our court.
How very
Don't waste
Orlesian.
my time with pleasantries, Celine. We have business.
Ah, I'm talking to Michaelin. Okay.
We
Good
will
night, buddy.
meet for the negotiations after we have seen to our other guests.
Inquisitor.
Lady
Oh, he's
Inquisitor,
unhappy.
we welcome
Probably.
you to the Winter Palace. Allow us to present our cousin, the Grand Duchess of Leeds, without whom this gathering would never have been possible.
What an unexpected pleasure. I was not aware the Inquisition would be part of our festivities. We will certainly speak later, Inquisitor.
Your arrival at court
I hate
is
her
like
haircut.
a cool wind on a summer's day.
Let's hope the breeze does not herald an oncoming storm.
Even the wisest mistake fair winds for foul. We are at the mercy of the skies, Inquisitor. How do you find Halam Shiral?
I have no words to suffice. Halam Shiral has many beauties, and I couldn't do them justice.
Your modesty does you credit, and speaks well for the Inquisition. Feel free to enjoy the pleasures of the ballroom, Inquisitor. We look forward to watching you dance.
So we here is the royal we, so referring to herself
Inquisitor,
and her
a word when you
office,
have a moment.
basically. And it's just another example of how ambiguous the word we usually is.
Tell me, Yvette, how are Mama and Papa? Are they in good health? Do they want for anything?
Oh, excuse me, it's her sister.
Happy in the studio. Mother is the same as always. Meaning she's after you to do more work.
You always take her side.
I don't take her side. I happen to think, as she does, you might attend to more of the estate's duties. Also, do stop slouching.
God, it's Josephine's sister. I love this.
In the ballroom. Everybody.
Yeah, it's
Jada, accompanying
Heavens,
the
I was
Baron,
about to
Lady
note that
Arlette
butch
and their
chop.
son, Lord Edmund,
Yeah,
student of the
that's
composer Eponine of
yeah,
Lucina.
it's awful. It's really awful. But yeah, we is an incredibly ambiguous word anyway. Like, my favorite example is something along the lines of, suppose you're out to dinner or out to lunch with a group of friends and you leave for the restroom and you come back and they inform you that while you were gone, we decided that we were all going to split the bill. Think that through on your own.
Lady
Josephine! Oh, Josephine! Is this her?
Inquisitor, please allow me to present to you my younger sister, Yvette Gabriella Montillier.
There can never be too many Lady Montilliers in Thedas, can there?
Inquisitor, I've heard so much about you, but not as much as I want. Josephine writes, but she never tells me anything. Is it true? Rebel mages in Redcliffe were performing blood rites and orgies before you stopped them.
Where did you hear such nonsense?
Everyone in Antifa
Not
says
quite.
it. Is it true?
I mean, it's almost true, but no. They were doing blood magic, but I don't remember any orgies. Hello. Sable?
Those stories
Ah, there
are
you go.
little more than wistful thinking, my lady.
Oh, how dull Redcliffe must have been then.
Not dull. Not dull. We kind of saw the future, and it was awful. Kevin says, yeah, so if they decide the weed is deciding or splitting the bill, I walk out immediately and catch up later. No. We, in that sentence, means two different things. In the first instance, it means everyone but you. In the second instance, it means everyone, including you. And, you can, of course, call them on that and be perfectly justified in doing so, logically speaking. Also, morally speaking, because your friends are a-holes. But yeah, it's an issue with it's an issue of ambiguity, and this is honestly a fundamental error in sort of social contract theory and democracy and justification theory for democracy and things like that. That it relies on these equivocations on the term "we" really, really badly. Hey, Mo.
Tell me about yourself,
There you go.
Lady Yvette. This is the first time I've encountered any of Josephine's family.
She would forget to mention the artists. I've been studying painting under Antiva's royal tutors. You should be proud, Josie. I'm going to be exhibiting my work next season in the city's biggest salon.
Have you actually sat down and finished the painting yet?
I must wait for my inspiration.
Ooh.
And I must wait for your tutor's bills.
Oof. Oof.
Enjoying the ball?
I see many of.
The dancing is so dull, Your Worship. But the Empress's gallery is magnificent.
Yvette.
Sorry, Josie.
Go on, Josephine.
Half Arroyo must be empty. So many of the Empire's finest are in attendance. They've noticed the Empress paying you special attention, but they don't quite know how to take advantage of it yet. This uncertainty won't last long, I'm afraid.
Yeah, this also does seem like an ideal time for an attack. Thankfully, Corypheus doesn't have his army of demons yet, so there's at least that to say.
Which power should the Inquisition throw its weight behind?
Celine has held the throne successfully for years. I see no profit in ousting her. Gaspard has run military campaigns, but never a kingdom. His transition would be, let us say, chaotic.
I think you're right.
Which power should the Inquisition
Oh,
throw its
I already
weight
heard that.
behind?
Celine, Gaspard has run military campaigns, but
This may be my only chance
There we
to
go.
hear about when Josephine was a girl.
Oh, yes. As she told you about when she was 10 and...
Yvette, stop.
Fine. What about when we were climbing the cliffs by the...
No.
She once told the Duke of...
Absolutely not.
She still plays with her doll collection when no one's looking.
Yvette, that's absurd. Absolutely preposterous.
That's adorable. Kevin says, I don't like that attitude that people have, that my involvement is assumed without my knowledge. Like, first off, I got questions, then maybe. I mean...
See you later.
Another time.
It's a fundamental assumption of... I mean, I would say the state in general, but democracy especially. The democratic process, let's say, and its justification for rulership, and, you know, the sort of justification for the democratic state, relies, I think, very strongly on there being an unquestioned assumption, even Orlesian theater, an unquestioned assumption that the state consists of a group of people as such, as a group of people, not as a collection of individuals. So it assumes that if you exist, then you exist as a part of this group. Not primarily as an individual, but only secondarily. And so if you're part of this group, and the group makes a decision, even if you didn't, you kind of did, because you're part of the group. This is I think I mean this sounds absurd, and I make this sound absurd kind of intentionally, the way I'm laying it out. But I'll put a link in the description to a book by a guy named Philip Pettit, who is a chief advisor and has been for years to both the United Nations and the Australian Parliament. And this is straight from his book. I think it's called On the People's Terms. I have it back here somewhere. It's very bad. No. I may have stored it away because it's so bad. That's at least a possibility. Ah, here it is. On the edge. Right on the end. Here we go. Yeah. This is test so highly. Philip Pettit, On the People's Terms. A Republican Theory and Model of Democracy. Cambridge University Press, 2000 and... Oh, sorry, 1995. No. No, that's a citation, sorry. That's a citation. 2012. This guy, Pettit, is more full of himself. He's exactly the kind you would expect for this sort of thing. At least I would expect. He is more full of himself than anyone I have ever read, ever seen, ever encountered under any circumstances. He cites himself, especially his previous work. But as an authoritative source, he cites himself. Even to the extent of saying that I agree with Pettit et al. That's a line in the book, in the body of the text, not even a footnote. This guy is insufferable. Also wrong about basically everything. He makes terrible arguments. But of course he's a major figure in the sort of the international institutional democratic lizard people, so to speak. You know what I mean.
And here we are. You haven't embarrassed yourself as much as I feared. Well done, my dear.
Thanks.
Any words of wisdom for navigating the ballroom?
Speak to the Council of Heralds.
Okay.
6 of them are here tonight. The 7th member of the council is indisposed. His absence will complicate the negotiations. The council are the highest-ranking players of the game. They see everything. They might know something we can use.
Okay.
I've always wondered, what's the Orlesian fascination with masks?
We all wear masks, my dear, not just the people in Orlais. Who you are as a daughter, a lover, a friend, are very different people from the Inquisitor and Herald of Andraste. Orlesians codify this truth, make it visible. By giving each of these selves its own separate face, they believe they can be their truest selves, unmasked.
I kind of like that, honestly. I've always loved this idea of role switching, of presenting roles, different settings and different contexts and different environments and different people. You see this in, I mean, the silliest place, but the one where my mind jumps to is Ben Stiller's character in The Mask, when Ipkiss, Jim Carrey's character, goes to try and figure out what the deal is with his magic mask, and he talks to this academic, played by Ben Stiller, who's talking about masks as a metaphor, again, for roles that we put on in society. But again, that kind of informs the idea of the movie, that Ipkiss has this mask that he puts on out to public of the mild-mannered banker. But beneath that is what the mask reveals, which aligns with this sort of idea quite well. Then you also have the flip side of it, that we experience today especially, of the mask as a kind of barrier. This is the same thing that the ancient Greeks noted in terms of masked theater, that playing a role while wearing a mask provides a kind of protective barrier between yourself and the role, so that you can play a slave without being ashamed, or that you can play a king or a god without being hubristic. But the mask is the role. You are giving life to the mask. It's almost like you're puppeteering rather than embodying. And so that avoids a lot of the problems that Plato points out about play acting. Or at least it theoretically does. It at least avoids a lot of the symbolic problems. Now, there's the other issue, again, of that barrier, especially if it's in a social context like this, or like ours, for that matter, ours in current year. It provides a barrier between individuals such that we become dehumanized to each other. And it's the same phenomenon that we see where something like road rage is incredibly common, incredibly understandable and relatable, and far more extreme than anything like sidewalk rage. You're far more likely to get extremely upset, especially vocally upset, and even yell at someone in the closest analogical sense by honking your horn at someone, cutting them off, acting aggressively towards somebody, if you can't see them as a face, as a person, but as a car. Similarly, we've been observing this with social fabric kind of pulling itself apart, with the ties that bind the social fabric together, so to speak, have been loosening because we are no longer faces to each other. We are the top half or less of faces to each other. We're eyes, we're words, or we're over a keyboard. Or we're a number on a screen in the case of big Zoom calls and things like that. But it's the idea of masks in a social setting is incredibly interesting, especially these days, obviously. And the impacts that can have, especially in a widespread scale, is fascinating, but very dark. Very dark. And I think it can be explored more thoroughly, and probably ought to be, and probably will be for years. A lot of sociologists, or maybe disciplines we trust more than sociology, will be looking, or at least I do, will be looking at this issue for a very long time. I probably will, honestly. I'm fascinated enough by it now. Imagine in retrospect when it's not as hot of a button, I suppose.
Anything happening I should know?
Strange that I haven't seen much of Grand Duchess Florian. One could always find her clinging desperately to the Empress's skirts before.
It seems like you enjoy this, Vivienne.
This is the game, Inquisitor. Of course I enjoy it. If I didn't, I'd be dead by now.
Tell me, Vivienne, where do you want the crown to fall?
What I want is irrelevant, darling. Orlais requires stability, and that is best served by Empress Celine.
Another fair point.
Be ready to act when I give the signal.
Always, my dear.
When my third husband... Perhaps we can speak later, Inquisitor.
Oh, okay. Well, fine. Alright. Let's try and get through this relatively quickly, because I want to finish this tonight, or if I can. We only have an hour and a half.
Inquisitor, did you need something? The sooner we track down this infiltrator, the better.
You've attracted a following. Who are all these people?
I don't know, but they won't leave me alone.
I take it you're not enjoying yourself.
At this point, the headache I'm developing is preferable to the company.
Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary?
Nothing that stands out. I doubt there's a single person here without ulterior motives.
Do you have any advice?
Orlesian social events don't fall within my area of expertise. There are a few here we can trust. Be careful.
Who do you think the Inquisition should support?
Gaspard's claim to the throne is fair. Orlais needs someone capable of responding to the crisis at hand. A military-minded leader seems the best option.
I mean, yes, but then we wind up with an overly militarized Orlais.
I await your signal.
And a bunch of warmongering talk of expansionism and empire and all sorts of nasty things. I see where he's coming from. It does make sense that we would want Orlais to be at least relatively militarized for our purposes, for the purposes of the Inquisition, because, again, we can use that against Corypheus, etc. However, that becomes an unpredictable force as well. Once you set that sort of thing in motion, it can very, very quickly spiral out of control.
Good. I was hoping it would catch you. What did the Duke say?
He points the finger at Ambassador Briala.
The ambassador is up to something, but she can't be our focus. The best place to strike at Celine is from her side. Empress Celine is fascinated by mysticism, foreseeing the future, speaking with the dead, that sort of rubbish. She has an occult advisor, an apostate to charm the Empress and key members of the court as if by magic.
Or literally
I've
by
had
magic, who
dealings
knows?
with her in the past. She is ruthless and capable of anything.
How can Celine openly keep an apostate in the Imperial Court?
The Imperial Court has always had an official position for a mage. Before now, it was little better than court jester. Vivian was the first to turn that appointment into a source of real political power. When the circles rebelled, technically every mage became an apostate. The word lost much of its strength.
You think she's controlling the minds of the court? That's powerful blood magic.
She's worth investigating. Can't be sure of anything here. Both leads point toward the guest wing. It's a promising place to start. I'll coordinate with our spies to see if I can find anything better. I will be in the ballroom if you need me.
I do, actually. I have some secrets for you. Nasty, dirty secrets. Ooh, dirty, nasty secrets. Of course, I don't know what these secrets are, but they're apparently very secretive. Very dirty. Okay. Back to the ballroom, back to Liliana, and then we're back out here, I think. We probably should talk to Liliana. Okay, where's Liliana? Oop, that's not right. Vivienne, Ellen, Liliana. Okay, Liliana's on that. Okay.
Does anyone really think the war will end tonight?
Well, we can only hope, can't we?
Look at Lady Cambion's slippers, trimmed with pearls and emeralds, and those buckles. Toss her into the lake and she'll sink right to the bottom. What a disaster.
There's a Tevinter assassin on the loose and you're concerned about buckles on shoes.
Everyone needs a hobby. Besides, you can learn a great deal about a person from their clothing. Gold and jewels on a dancing slipper. A slipper is easily lost and finds itself in the dust and dirt. She is unconcerned with the possibility of losing the shoe or soiling it. A vulgar display of wealth. But Lady Cambien's family has recently lost most of its holdings. They have their title, but little else. So, how did Cambien acquire such a grand shoe? What has she done? Who has she bedded? These are all useful questions, no?
That's true, I suppose. That's very Sherlock Holmesian.
You're different here than in Skyhold. More approachable, perhaps.
This is Halam Shiral, Inquisitor. This is the Imperial Court. This is the beating heart of the Great Game. Of course, everyone is wearing a mask. I learned this very young. I was still a girl when I attended my first ball. All this, the smiles, the small talk, it is a dance. And like any dance, it can be learned. For some of us, it has become so familiar that the steps may be performed in our sleep.
Who do you think the Inquisition should support?
What we need most of all is a stable Orlais. Either Celine or Gaspard can give us that.
I found this out. I'm not sure of its value.
Very interesting. It may not help our investigation, but we can put it to use. A little more dirt like this, and we might have some leverage in the court. If you find more, let me know.
Have you seen anything interesting?
Oh yes. Halam Shiral is lousy, with scandals and scheming. But no sign of a Tevinter infiltrator, I'm afraid.
Okay.
I should go. Be on your guard.
I always am.
So, to clarify, by the way, I
didn't expect
in case it wasn't clear, I didn't mean, when I said, hey, I want to finish this, I didn't mean, stop talking. That's fine. I am perfectly happy to still entertain the chat and talk to you guys. Especially given, like I said, there's tons to talk about as well. I have vaguely mentioned before, not too recently, unfortunately, that I've also recently been highly concerned about something perhaps less important, but perhaps equally interesting. That being, of course, the Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power show from Amazon.
Leave us.
Okay.
Interesting.
The package is in the guest wing. Upper room.
The one of the garden. Statuette.
Okay. That sounds useful. Servants' quarters, Grant's apartments. But yeah, it's
Don't I know you from somewhere? Ah. Lord Rudal de Langres. I've seen you in his company before, no?
I don't think we've met, my lord. I'm just a Grey Warden.
Odd. Your face is so familiar. Around the eyes, especially. Perhaps without that beard?
without that beard, he looks even more ridiculous. Okay. Anyway, that's odd. But anyway, yeah, it's looking bad, guys. It's looking real bad. I was willing to go along with it a little bit when I saw the promotional images and such. I think the costuming and the design work, especially of the swords and the weapons and such, looks atrocious. It's like chunks of metal all shaped into weird shapes rather than properly made weapons and swords. Then we started to see a little more promotional images, a little more promotional stuff, and it was getting worse. Same kind of problems. Then we started to see like the full character portraits, and Elrond does not look. The elves all have like short hair, either shorn hair or like 80s updos, and Galadriel in armor. Notoriously, everyone knows the issues there, I think. The weird insertion of racial diversity stuff honestly is a lesser concern. I can see dark-skinned dwarves. Like I don't see a problem with that. Like the woman they have playing a dwarf, I actually can see her as a dwarf. Give her a beard, and she'd look like a dwarf. A lot of the fan edits, the Photoshop edits that gave her a beard, which actually looks pretty good. They're not gonna, but that would actually, I think, she would work. I don't know her as an actress, so I can't say, but the look, she kind of has the look. Costuming still is awful, but I could see it. I could see her working. Costuming's awful with the Doritos. But then we got the trailer and a lot of similar issues. They're compressing the timeline. They're ignoring the timeline. They're making 5 seasons out of the appendices and nothing more. One of the biggest issues, and this relates to something that I've said before kind of extensively in a couple of different places, is that they're trying to make Tolkien's world of Middle-earth more like a reflection of our world. To make it look like our world, a reflection of our world, make it more realistic and relatable. And I've argued before that is anathema to someone like Tolkien, for whom realism is about transcendent beauty. It's not about similarity to the faults and foibles of our world. And this is why I've said one of my least favorite. I said this in a lecture. I'll put a link in the description.
I think we've met, my lord.
Oh, no,
I'm just a Grey Warden.
One of my least favorite things one of my least favorite changes in the film adaptation, and Peter Jackson's film adaptation of The Lord of the Rings, was in The Two Towers. The Ents, when they complete their Entmoot in the books, they've discussed matters. They are aware of the situation, they have their discussion, they meet in council, and they decide to march to battle against Isengard. They march, they fight, and they're victorious. With significant losses, heroic losses, but they're victorious nonetheless. And they had council, they examined the situation, and they made the right decision. Done, right? That's it, it's simple. In the movie, Peter Jackson had to change it to make it more dramatic, which I understand for dramatic purposes, but it has unintended side effects. When he changed it to the Ents deciding not to go to war, Merry and Pippin tricking Treebeard into seeing the destruction wrought by Saruman, and then calling out in anger for the other Ents to join him in battle. What that does, while it does manage to portray a more dramatic sense of emotion. I don't know what's going on here, by the way. A more dramatic sense of emotion, that's great. However, it also places the sentimental and the passionate and the irrational above the rational. Rational debate and discussion and contemplation and decision reasoning together in council. And that is, again, anathema to Tolkien's view of the world. And it was a radical change that didn't seem like a radical change. Because it seems like just something to make it look more dramatic. But if you don't know the purpose of the source material, you're not going to be able to adapt it properly. And they absolutely, currently, Amazon, they absolutely don't know the purpose of the source material. They fired Tom Shippey. They got rid of him and replaced him with this Mariana something woman. I think Mariana. Whoever, I forget her name exactly. But she's a diversity, inclusion, and equity grad student who studies Tolkien on the side as their, from what we can tell, primary Tolkien scholar. I'm concerned. I am not concerned. I'm my expectations are rock bottom. That's all.
What's the word? Seen anything yet?
There aren't enough guards. That seems odd. Either the Empress disguised them for appearances, or something has gone wrong.
That's troubling.
While I have a moment, is there anyone here I should question?
I'm not well acquainted with Orlesian nobility. They rarely welcome Grey Wardens coming in with the right of conscription.
What do you think about all the scheming and politics?
I think I'd rather be anywhere else. Let's save the Empress and get back to where things make sense. Say what you want about Celine's ascension. She stole the throne? She seduced her way to it? Who cares? In the years since, she's proven she is a perfect mix of strength, cunning, and grace that Orlais needs. Gaspard, you may as well crown a bull if he wins.
Good point. Weird that you seem to know all of that, but good point.
So, Silverite Wings of Valor. What did you get that for?
For valor.
Care to elaborate?
It was a long time ago. Back when we didn't stop to boast about past victories when there was an assassin on the loose.
Ooh, okay.
Wait for my
Harsh.
signal.
Harsh. But, alright, fair enough, I guess. Nope, locked. Upper guest wing, huh? Upper guest wing is over here. Right. Oh, trophy room. No, locked. I might not finish this tonight. I might not actually finish this tonight. I got an hour and 10 minutes.
Good to know.
There is. This is a long quest. I forgot how long of a quest this is.
Gaspard is wasted.
Well, that's useful.
Legion Theater.
Well, well, the Inquisitor. Here as a guest of my nephew, no less. I'm curious.
I didn't know the Grand Duke was your nephew.
He's my brother's eldest boy. Always a difficult child, Gaspard. Never listened, never did what he was told. He was raised a prince. All his life we told him he would be emperor. It was his destiny, his duty. What else should he do with his life if not fight for his destiny?
Have you noticed anything strange this evening?
My niece Florian hasn't spoken to me all evening. That's not like her.
What can you tell me about the Civil War?
If you are hoping for insight, you've come to the wrong man. It's war. It is brutal, and terrible, and sometimes necessary. There's nothing more to say.
Okay.
Another time, my lord.
I don't exactly know how we got approval for that, but... Oop. Caprice.
You don't want to be here, stranger.
Okay. I mean, I do, but... Can I go out here? Oh, I didn't mean to. Okay.
My lady! My lady Inquisitor!
May we have a word? It is very important. The Empress has sent us with a message for you.
I'm always honored to hear from Her Majesty.
Oh, she is the honored one, Inquisitor.
Empress Celine is
Still
eager
suspicious.
to assist the Herald of Andraste in her holy endeavor.
She will pledge her full support to the Inquisition as soon as the usurper Gaspard is defeated.
That's a generous offer.
The Empress believes wholeheartedly that the Inquisition is our best hope for peace in these difficult times.
She looks forward to cementing a formal alliance. As soon as Gaspard is out of the way. But we
Okay.
have taken enough of your time.
Please, enjoy the masquerade, Inquisitor.
So that's 2 out of 3 factions that have agreed to side with us if they win. I like these odds. It really just means that we have to,
This is a private conversation.
oh, vaguely sincere apologies.
Interesting.
It's
You must be mistaken.
No, I'm quite certain it was blood on the tiles.
Ooh.
If they're playing the...
Blood on the tiles, huh? Let's start this over.
You must be mistaken.
No, I'm quite certain it was blood on the tiles.
If they're playing the game, they're not doing it very well. You don't leave evidence if you play to win.
With Gaspard and that elf woman here, the only one playing to win is Celine.
Now that's some secrets. There's a Holodoor. This takes 3, and I don't remember what's in here. I don't have 3 yet. We'll get around to it. Let's not go up there yet. Okay.
Interesting. Well, that's useful.
Anyway. I assume climbing a trellis will not be looked upon favorably by the court.
Gaspard is wasting his time. Nothing he does could win over the Council of Heralds now.
That's blood, alright. It's
He
definitely
hasn't
blood.
made the pickup. It's been hours.
You went into the servants' wing. Nobody's come out of there all night.
I'll tell Briala we have a situation.
Okay, so servant's wing it is.
Did you hear what Gaspard said to Duke Germain? His own uncle.
If I have to clean up
Germain
another
bore his
pub...
nephew's spite better than the rest of the council. Did you see that?
Pardon?
This way is closed. Please, use the main entrance to the ballroom.
Okay. Yeah, Briala is the only wild card. Really.
Well, well. What's this?
Okay, clues. Clara, kitchen staff, entered servant's wing by main stair, 130. Vernon, entered servant's wing from hall. Sophie, chambermaid, entered servant's wing from hall. Marius footman entered service wing from main stair. Briala, we need immediate support down there. Something's gone wrong. What? Okay.
I heard the Inquisition was here.
You're too gullible.
Inquisitor, are you enjoying the ball? This is your first presentation at court, is it not? I am Lady
Yes.
Marcelette, court historian
think so.
to Her Imperial Majesty.
Are you here to chronicle the events of the evening for posterity?
Oh yes, this is a momentous occasion. The first meeting between the Grand Duke and Her Majesty since the war began. Even if, Maker forbid, the talks should fail, it is an important moment in the history of the Empire.
What exactly does a court historian do?
I am responsible for the historical records of the court. I maintain our library and record all official proceedings.
Okay.
Good evening, Lady Marcelette.
Another time, perhaps.
Thank you.
Philippe should have returned hours ago, dallying with some serving girl while I deal with Gaspard's vitriol.
I can't imagine Gaspard being vitriolic. What's the matter?
The Grand Duke bears a grudge against the Council for refusing him the crown. He's threatened death if they refuse him again, collectively and individually, along with their vassals.
Oh. That was a little too direct.
What backwater did you come from? Everyone knows that.
Oh. Oops. Won't do it again, I promise. Ostwick in particular. Ostwick is, I guess, a backwater.
I heard the Inquisition was here.
You're too gullible.
Get in? Need the key. Upper guest quarters. Where's the guest quarters? Lower level. Winter Palace upper level. How do I get there? Oh, up there. Up there. Okay, got it. No, it's interesting to me that... So I'm doing this quest because it's Mardi Gras, or more or less approaching Mardi Gras at least. No. But that this is almost the opposite of a traditional inversion festival, the likes of Mardi Gras. Royally. I need to go. This is, if anything, the absolute imposition of order, rather than the inversion of order. Right, the inversion of order is what we usually associate with a masquerade, because it allows one to put distance between oneself and the persona that one is putting on, right? It's supposed to be going. Scandalous information, Stone Holla. Real's agents, Grand Library, and the servants' quarters. How do I get into any of those places? Huh. Can I get into the guest wing? Nope. But yeah, it's that I think the reason, or at least a reason, probably the primary reason, why why this is kind of the opposite of an inversion festival, why this is a kind of almost a celebration or an imposition of order. Despite being a masquerade, which, as I said, we typically associate with inversion festivals, I think the reason that would be is that it is... Alright, let's try this. Alright, no one saw us. The main reason that would be, I think, is that in Orlesian culture... Ooh, blood. Court approval... Okay, court approval takes a hit if I'm exploring up here. Let's be quick. Holodoor. Orlesian culture wears a mask. Primarily. All of the time. It is the social norm. Like we said, the mask is the face.
Even you cannot deny that the Templars abandoned the faithful
And
in the darkest hour. How can you condone that? They are the ones who should be brought to heel, if you ask me.
In our ordinary society, right? Our society, traditionally, not now, but our traditional ordinary society, the face is our usual face, right? And so if we were to... There we go. If we were to expect any kind of inversion, we would do that in order to separate ourselves from... Let me check what this is. In order to separate ourselves from the the debauchery that we're participating in an inversion festival like Mardi Gras or any kind of masquerade, what we would do in that case is obscure our faces, put on a mask. But if the mask is our ordinary face, which would be the case here in a social situation like this, where's one? Okay, cool. Eat this. Yeah. We put it up there and it opens the door magically. Wacky. Oh, bunch of dead people. That's interesting. Celine. We can discuss this like adults, can't we? We both know the weapon at Briala's disposal could not only turn the tide of our war, but every war. The Empire must control it. I do not believe you disagree. She is now a greater threat to Orlais than anything else. If you and I work together, we can wrest control away from her. Do not deceive yourself that she will be open to negotiations or diplomacy. You know her better than anyone. You know that's impossible. Gaspard. Okay. Grand Library. Oh. Whole book. Cool. But in it, like I said, in a situation or a society like this where the mask is the default, we have a situation where taking the mask off would be more scandalous and more strange. Lady M, need to see you at my side tonight. The unpleasantness in the royal wing has convinced me there is no safety within the palace. Lady M has to be Briala somehow, right? I do not expect my cousin to employ magic, but I would hardly be surprised if he provoked another infestation. Since my court enchanter is not here to assist me. Oh, she's out. I must rely entirely upon you. There's no one else I can trust. Okay. Veilfire? What is there Veilfire? Oh, it's a puzzle. Right.
That's the bell. I should get back to the ballroom.
Okay. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Jussail first, second, Lorian, Etienne, Rivel. It's Jussail. No, that's wrong. Okay, then it's Etienne, the first. Jussail the first. No. Etienne, Revel, Etienne, Jussail, Lorian. Okay, I'm fashionably late. I'm not extremely late yet. I need to get back to the ballroom and I'll get
That will be the second bell. Fashionably late now.
I'll get a little bit of extra, what's it called? Okay, cool. Let's get out of here. Okay, let's go. Whee! Just jumping.
It's been too long since I've had any word from
Right, let's go. Anyway, but like I said, I'm wondering now whether, because we are beginning to live in a society much like this, where the mask, the covering of the face, is the default view, the default way of being in society.
Well. What have
is that taking off the mask will become a weird kind of inversion, scandalous
the leader
thing.
Of the new
I hope
Inquisition,
not. I desperately hope
fabled
not. But
herald of the faith, delivered from the grasp of the Fade by the hand of blessed Andraste herself.
Hi, Morrigan.
What brings such an exalted creature here to the Imperial Court, I wonder? Do even you know?
We may never know. Courtly intrigues and all that.
Such intrigues obscure much, but not all. I am Morrigan. Some call me advisor to Empress Celine on matters of the arcane. You have been very busy this evening, hunting in every dark corner of the palace. Perhaps you and I hunt the same prey.
I hope so. I could use another ally here.
A sentiment I share, considering recent events.
Recent events?
Recently I found and killed an unwelcome guest within these very halls. An agent of Tevinter. So I offer you this, Inquisitor. A key found on the Tevinter's body.
Interesting.
Where it leads, I cannot say. Yet if Celine is in danger, I cannot leave her side long enough to search. You can.
You left Celine alone. Is that wise?
I must return to her anon, but she is safe enough. For the moment. 'Twould be a great fool who strikes at her in public in front of all her court and the Imperial Guard.
Kevin says, I don't think it's going to be as difficult to break as all that. Most people in my area just do as they want, and the majority are maskless. Yeah, I think that's true in a lot of places, but not everywhere. Honestly, I think there will be cultural pockets where it is a thing. Maybe for a very long time, unfortunately. But again, it'll be weird cultural pockets. It'll be weirdos. It'll be those groups of people who, unfortunately, are a lot of the opinion molders of our world. But still, I think that they will be. They'll probably be at it for a while. Erica says, I have to go to sleep. I'm in incredible pain. I need to take something for it. Wear sunscreen, my dudes, or suffer deservedly. Yes, I agree. Eric's outside today for a while, backyard, kids and such, and got a pretty nasty sunburn. Yeah, careful with that. I know it's not exactly that time of the year for most of you, Kevin in particular, I suppose, and whoever else. But down here, there's a high of, 83 today or something? It was pretty warm because it was very sunny. Yeah, it was. It's not great. Good night, honey. Love you. Hope you feel better.
Why did you kill the agent? He might have had useful information.
I would not have slain the man on sight had he not attacked me first. Why? Undoubtedly, I caught him in an illicit act. I did not know from whence he came until after the battle, and regret only that I could not capture him alive. What intentions the Imperium has here, I suspect you know far better than I.
Indeed.
Briala's people are whispering about disappearances in the servants' quarters. This key may lead there.
The ambassador does have eyes and ears everywhere, does she not? Proceed with caution, Inquisitor. Enemies abound, and not all of them aligned with Tevinter. What comes next will be most exciting.
I love Morrigan. I missed Morrigan. Good to have her back. Alright, oh, we need to get back to the ballroom, like right now. We're almost late.
I'm so glad Maman did not want to attend. She always ruins everything.
Not as much as you do.
Why would the Empress invite that elf woman?
What?
The game, of course. Celine has something.
If the Inquisitor is here
Hmm.
with us now.
Did you say Gaspard does?
He and Celine aren't getting anywhere.
Oh, hi, Gaspard. I can just talk to you. Interesting.
Did you say Gaspard?
Evan says... Oh, there's Empress. There's Lady Fleur, the three ladies. And there's Briala. Wow, I can just kind of talk to everyone, huh?
Lady Nightingale.
Commander, has anyone ever told you that you have the most remarkable eyes?
Interesting. Evan says, I am definitely careful about the sun, being a fellow pale American. Yeah,
I found this out.
yeah, I get
I'm
it.
not sure of its value.
Obviously.
Excellent.
In fact, I get it pretty bad when I get it. I didn't today. I was in a lot of the time. I had some work to do. All right. So let's talk to the Empress's ladies in waiting. Speak to Briala. Speak to... I guess we'll speak to Gaspard.
Duke Gaspard has made a fortune at Alliance.
Inquisitor,
wonder if the Lady
to what do
Inquisitor
we owe this
agrees.
honor?
We are always delighted to speak with you, of course.
You're spazzing a little.
Majesty is unfortunately occupied at present.
Oh, well, okay.
If the evening ends favorably for the Empress, how does the Inquisition benefit?
Her Imperial Majesty brings the might of the Orlesian Empire with her friendship.
She is also a respected diplomat and world leader. She can forge alliances for you with Wherein, Antiva, the Underfells.
And she throws the best parties.
Okay, that's fair.
Perhaps you could tell me something then. I'd like to know more about Empress Celine.
Her Majesty has held the throne since she was just 16 years old.
She is respected and beloved, not just in Orlais, but across Thedas.
She doesn't care much for liver, and she drinks her tea black.
That's a good deal of information to just sort of flop. I mean, it's probably the standard public relations shtick, but still, cool.
We haven't been properly introduced.
How rude of us to forget.
Milady Inquisitor, may I present Lady Couteau?
And Lady Colombe.
And of course, Lady Fleur. We are the Empress's ladies-in-waiting.
Okay.
My investigations turned up something interesting.
I don't have enough information to accuse anyone yet. I'm gonna wait.
I'd like to know more about the negotiations. It seems strange to hold peace talks during a ball.
The nobility must do things very differently in Austria.
By Orlesian tradition, moments of great solemnity are celebrated with revels and feasts.
While joyous occasions are given time for reflection and contemplation.
We must never forget that life is both bitter and sweet.
The ball is an opportunity to celebrate life and hope for the future, while we mourn those killed in the war.
Okay, so it is a little bit of an inversion festival. Just a strange one.
What is the Empress trying to accomplish with the negotiations?
Peace is her only objective, Inquisitor.
Gaspard and Briella are driven by personal ambitions, but those desires threaten the safety of all Orlesians.
The war must end tonight. We must conclude this to deal with the larger crisis.
I agree.
What can you tell me about the other parties involved in the talks?
Gaspard is a decorated general, much beloved by the Imperial Army, and a legend among chevaliers.
He is better suited to the battlefield than the throne, and he would gladly make his palace a war camp.
He's also fiendishly charming.
Lady Briella has great intentions to change the lives of the elves for the better.
Even if her plans could never work and would only provoke hate crimes against alienages.
She is an idealist, but her lack of patience could prove disastrous.
So she's a critical theorist who is going to stoke racial animosity until it explodes. Cool! Let's get rid of her too. Yeah, let's go with Empress Celine. 100%, let's go with Empress Celine. Let's wait to tell them about anything.
Until next time, Inquisitor.
Stop twitching.
Enjoy the masquerade.
Merci.
Inquisitor Trevelyan. Slumming even more than usual, I see. You've charmed some of the nobles. We'll see how long you can keep their favor. What brings you to me?
I had a question about you, Briella.
I'm an elf, Inquisitor. That should tell you everything you need to know about my life. I'm good at what I do. And so that matters. I will help my people no matter the cost.
Oh, I shouldn't have said that. That's gonna hurt me with the court. Crap. No, Sable, no.
You were romantically involved with the Empress.
I didn't take you for a gossip monger, Inquisitor. I suppose your spies have already briefed you, so there's no point in pretending. Yes, Celine and I were lovers once.
Ew.
But we've gone our separate ways now.
What's your story? How was an elf invited to the Empress's ball as an ambassador?
Empress Celine and I have history. There was a time when I put my spies at her disposal. She knows my qualifications. We had a falling out. Now we are negotiating to determine whether I return to her side in the war.
I'm surprised you'd admit that, considering the circumstances.
I know it's incriminating. Few harbor more resentment against Celine than I. But if she died after inviting me here, the court would certainly pin her death on me. An elf assassinating the Empress? Alienages across Orlais, across all Thedas, would be purged. That cannot happen.
Okay. Fair. You've kind of convinced me that you're not here to kill her, but not that you're going to be helpful.
I want to know more about the peace talks. What can you tell me about Celine and Gaspard?
Gaspard is a warmonger. He served in the war against Ferelden and fought a dozen skirmishes on the Navarran border. He's a simple man. Simple men aren't hard to manipulate. Celine is the voice of reason in the Empire. But reason is cautious. Reason looks for compromise. Reason doesn't choose radical change, however sorely it may be needed.
Oh boy. Yeah. No, I was right in my assessment of her.
We'll speak more later, Ambassador.
Another time, Inquisitor.
My assessment of her was spot on. I can't believe that didn't lose me approval. Alright, let's talk to Gaspard.
My friend, come in, have a drink. What can I do for you? You've been busily charming the court, I see.
I also I almost like the resolution or making peace between Celine and Gaspard. Almost. I don't know.
I'd like to know more about you.
All of Orlais knows my story. But you, my friend, are far too sensible to be Orlesian. The heart of it is simple. I am the rightful heir to the throne of Orlais. But my cousin, Celine, is a politician, while I am a man of action. She charmed the Council of Heralds. They gave the crown to her, and while it looks fetching on her, I intend to take it back.
If you're the rightful heir, how did Celine become Empress?
I am the oldest, but I lack the Valmont name. My mother was the late Emperor's sister. Celine is a Valmont. Her honored father was my mother's brother. But she is the youngest. When there is any doubt surrounding the line of succession, the matter falls to the Council of Heralds. Celine outplayed me, forming alliances on the Council for support. So they passed over me in her favor.
So you intend to out-negotiate your cousin?
It will take heroic effort on my part, Inquisitor, and a lot of brandy. The talks will take most of the evening. Make her willing, we will emerge triumphant.
I have a question about the peace talks. What are you hoping to achieve at the negotiations?
I intend to take back what is rightfully mine. Celine stole the crown.
Personal ambition again.
But I am the rightful emperor of Orlais. The Empire has been mired in intrigue for too long. We need a clear course of action.
What action did you have in mind?
The Empire is declining. We cannot allow Navarra and Ferelden to chip away our borders. I will see Orlais return to glory as the strongest nation in Thedas.
You intend to return to expansionism.
I like to solve problems in the simplest manner, my friend.
And that's a problem.
We'll
Okay.
speak later, Duke Gaspard.
Another time.
I almost want to get them to make peace. Not sure, though. No, nothing to say. All right. She's still twitching.
Yeah, such beautiful
So
hair.
let's go. Oh, wait. Do we have any more?
Ugh. So many crimes of fashion.
No. Okay.
I should go. Be on your guard.
I always am.
Yeah, let's enter the servants' quarters. We've got 35 minutes. Alright, go. Wait, there's more in the library we should look to. I think that was a... Oh no, we didn't open the... This is the library, isn't it? Darn it. Right. Alright. Quick shortcut. By shortcut, I mean long cut through the library. Can't get into the trophy room yet. That's later, I think. Alright, let's go back up there, go through the library. We're gonna lose court approval as we are outside. But that's fine. It's at least manageable. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's all set. This is all set. Go through here. There's a great deal of stuff in here. Correspondence. We're here. Yeah, there we go. Now this is where being a rogue is useful. Because if you're not a rogue, you can't do that. If you're not playing a rogue, if you're playing anything other than a rogue, that's impossible. Not that it got me too much, but sigil, great minstrel. What's that? Where's that? Oh, right there. Halamsharil investigation, grandchildren of Emperor Judith Kale. Oh, this is for the... Okay. That's for the lineage thing that I basically guessed based on numbers and names. Secret love letter. Oh my god. Cole.
Faces talk even when they aren't.
You look so weird without a hat.
Silk on satin on skin, always wanting, chaste but chaste, too many.
Clever wordplay.
Are you all right, Cole? You seem distracted. More than usual.
They have faces inside their faces, lying with a layer that tells the truth. I don't know how to help them.
Have you observed anything happening yet?
Cullen is afraid. They're hunting him, following fear. He shouldn't be here.
What are you doing, Cole?
A fallen fan can cut like a kiss. Hot breath from the wrong boy on the naked nape of the neck. I helped until they made me stop. Now they've all forgotten.
Cole, no.
Stay out of trouble, Cole.
Socks get wet when the tide rises.
What? Cole, no. Cole, no. Cole, no. That's not right. Mm-mm. No, that's not right at all. Yeah, so Cole was... no, I'm not even gonna... If you caught that, you caught it.
This could be worth checking out.
Congratulations, you caught that. It's highly disturbing. All right. And here my companions join, I think. Yeah. Oh my god. Blade of Tadarian. Even Chopper. Dayless Slasher. I kind of forgot that he needs better armor than he has. Oh boy. Yen. That. Orlesian Mask. There. Okay, we're good. I just did that.
Stabbing, and then real stabbing. Lungs full, frothing, scent of apples as it all goes black.
So yes, they're dead. A lot of people are dead. Oh my gosh. Since I took that box up to the grand apartments, 9 people have subtly tried asking me where the vault is, including a couple of chevaliers, the 5th undergardener, and one of the Grand Duchess' footmen. I'm not mad enough to tell. Huh. Yeah, that's deeply troubling. Now, the main question I have is, oh no. Let's give him all the assassin stuff. And then give him some dagger stuff. Actually, no, let's give him some sneaky stuff, because he needs to be able to sneak much better. Okay. Anyway, that'll do. Like I was saying, though, not this. Okay. I remember what I was saying, honestly. I lost my train of thought there. I'm sorry. I'm rushing through here. lose too much court approval, because I'm missing for a lot. Ah! Another thoughtbot. Kill it! Oh, wait. I have to kill it. Hold on. The servant's wing. Remove. Put user in timeout. Put user in timeout. Put user in timeout. Go away forever. Anyway. During her reign's 5th year, Empress Celine substantially expanded the palace's servants' living quarters. Now they encompass a large stretch of the garden, which the landscape architecture, etc. Okay, well... Now the servants' quarters is a bunch of gardens and stuff, too. Nice. Kind of her. Fancy. Inconvenient. More for me to search. But fine. Fine, I suppose. Let's go out there, then. There's some elves here. Dead ones, by the look of things. A lot of dead people.
Shall we have a look around?
Yeah. Another holla. This is the part where I kind of have to rush, because, again, court approval just keeps declining as you... Oof. Dick around out here. There we go.
This was no servant. What was he doing here?
This man was a council of Herald's emissary. Curious to find him here.
That knife bears a Chalon family crest. Gaspard's crest.
Time to have a word with the Duke.
Oh! Hi there.
Venatori agents!
Okay, got him.
Venatori were watching this approach. They're organized.
I don't know why the Venatori are dressing like Harley Quinn, but okay. Or, you know, Harlequins. More technically and appropriately. Let's just Alfred, okay. What was the other way? Where did they come from? There's more there. There's Alfred. More Alfred. You can go up through there to something. Yeah, there's a lot of Venatori, and they are dressed strangely, say. I never quite got why they dress like this. I guess it's sort of to blend in Harlam Shiral, but I don't know, it's a little odd. They don't exactly blend in. Is this? No. I guess I do need to go the other way, unless this is something. Oh, it is, isn't it? I'm freezing. Oh, jeez, not again. Sorry about that. I'm experiencing the freezing too. It's not just on your end. Compendium of Orlesian Theater. Theatre. My court approval is going steadily downwards, but as long as it doesn't bottom out, I don't fail. We're doing okay. Chavez, mother of Orlais. I'm going in the right direction, I think. Fortunately, that means I missed things. I should have also been looking. Mad Emperor Reveal. Ooh. I'm gonna guess that has something to do with real-world history, but I don't have the time right now to go through it in detail. Can I save here? I can, just in case. Okay, there we go. Cole's dying. Of course.
Fancy meeting you here. Shouldn't you be dancing, Inquisitor? What will the nobility say?
Aren't you supposed to be negotiating, Ambassador?
Welcome to the Imperial Court, friend. This is our diplomacy at work. You clean this place out. It'll take a month to get all the Tevinter blood off the marble. I came down to save or avenge my missing people. But you've beaten me to it. So, the
welcome,
Council
I
of
guess.
Herald's emissary in the courtyard. That's not your work, is it?
He was dead when I arrived.
I expected as much. You may have arrived with the Grand Duke, but you don't seem to be doing his dirty work. I knew he was smuggling his chevaliers. But killing a council emissary? Bringing Tevinter assassins into the palace? Those are desperate acts. Gaspard must be planning to strike tonight.
Something doesn't add up here. That's all I'm saying.
Are you sure he's behind this?
Plus, you're as sketchy as he is, if not more so.
Easygoing for a man plotting treason.
Don't let his charm blind you. He's Orlesian. That smile is his mask. I misjudged you, Inquisitor. You might just be an ally worth having. What could you do with an army of elven spies at your disposal? You should think about it.
What do I have to give you in exchange for this army of spies?
A moment of consideration. I know which way the wind is blowing. I'd bet coin that you'll be part of the peace talks before the night is over.
Yeah,
and
probably.
if you happen to lean a little bit our way, it could prove advantageous to us both. Just a thought.
I probably won't do that.
Strange that every single person at this party has tried to bribe us.
It's the game, my dear. Everyone plays it here.
Okay. Right, I do want to search the rest of this area as best I can. A lot of fire. Okay. Grand apartments. Home for the Empress. Emperor. I think I need to use this one. Let me check. This is in the Grand Apartments, yes. Servants' quarters, Grand Apartments, upper level. Servants' quarters. Servants' quarters, Grand Apartments, upper level. 3 Hall statues. Okay, so this is needed for reconciling Celine and Briala. I'm not interested. So I'm not going to use my Halas, my statues for this. I'm going to go elsewhere. I'm going to go elsewhere. Yeah, come on, let me through. I'm losing approval here. People don't approve of me dilly-dallying like this. They don't approve. I already went through here. Nope, back this way. Back down. Ooh, this is gonna hurt, this is gonna hurt, this is gonna hurt. Alright. Ooh, resupply somewhere. Kind of need that. Okay. Anything in there I needed? I don't think so. No, it doesn't look like it. It's just cheese. Cheese is good, though. Alright. Now, how much left do I have to do here? There's no way I'm going to finish this in 15 minutes. This is going to be the beginning of next time, so it would seem. Which is not a problem. Not a real problem. Just unexpected, that's all. Oh, can't go through there. Unfortunately unexpected, but that's okay. I do want to get, like I said, I want to get as far in here as we can before I wrap up for the night. I don't want to go late. I do have other things I need to do tonight. I have another video that needs recording, so that'll be, so expect that out soon. That is actually going to be on a, in part on the dispute between Anselm of Canterbury and Gandilo. Of Momotar, I think, a colleague of his that he corresponded with, who presented an objection to his much lauded ontological argument. This was a perhaps the most common objection, even to this day, which is the problem of how do we put it? The problem of including existence in the definition of the thing. And usually this is done by analogy, whether that is Gandilo's analogy of a perfect island, that island than which no greater can be thought, that sort of thing. Or if this is done through more modern analogies of, defining a unicorn as a horse with a horn which exists necessarily, or something like that. In other words, attributing the divine attributes to finite things. And of course, Anselm relies on a careful distinction here that exists in all pre-modern philosophy, at least in the West, the great classical tradition, that there is a distinction between understanding and mere imagination. That these are very distinct and different things, and there are certain things we can imagine and certain other very different things that we can understand or we can conceive of. These are different standards. They stand apart. And so because of that difference, that means that these various things that we can... Oh, Briala's people. Interesting. This means that various things that we think we can comprehend, we're really just imagining, and things that we can comprehend, we might not necessarily be able to imagine. And this is a distinction between imagination, that is the conjuring of mental images, or the simulacra of sensation, phantasms, as Aristotle called it, versus conception or understanding, which is knowing what something is. Uh-oh.
Interesting.
Is it true what they say?
You're the Inquisitor, are you not?
What's this note?
I heard stories of your accomplishments.
I'd wager I have better tales than anything you've heard.
I told you, Philippe. Not everyone fights an archdemon and lives to tell. It's an inspiration.
If you'd like, Commander Cullen could give you all the details of that battle. He's in the ballroom.
Really? But I shouldn't leave my post.
You'd only be gone a moment.
Philippe, the world is coming to an end. If we don't hear this story now, we'll never have a chance.
You're right.
Nice.
Thank you, Inquisitor. Let's go.
I should look around.
Where was the... I thought there was weird Easter eggs in here, but maybe not. Well, I'm sure I'll... Philippe, move in on the western wing of the palace when I say, send you 3 shots of brandy, not taking any chances, Gaspard. Ooh, nice, I can do this. I'm a thief. Sorry, not a thief, a rogue. Obviously. Expert treasure hunter. Anything else to pick up in here? No? Okay. Right, well, let's get out of the trophy room. Oh, there it is. Hey, look. Unknown monstrous beast. Taken in a hunt in Siralt by Duke Emmerich. 927 dragon. That's a Krogan. Okay. I hope I didn't goof this at any point.
Inquisitor Trevelyan. We met briefly. I am Grand Duchess Floriane de Chalon. Welcome to my party.
Why am I not at all surprised that you want to see me now?
This is Orlé, Inquisitor. Nothing happens by accident. I believe tonight you and I are both concerned
Your
by
favorite
the
haircut,
actions
Kevin.
of a certain person. Come, dance with me. Spies will not hear us on the dance floor.
Should 2 women really be dancing together?
My dear Inquisitor, we are the most important people in the room. It would be more scandalous if we did not dance.
Neither of us is anywhere near as important as Briala or not Briala, as
You are
Celine
from
or
the Free
Gaspard.
Marches, are you not? How much do you know about our little war?
It doesn't matter where you're from, Your Grace. Everyone knows what's happening in the Empire.
I often forget about the world outside of the Imperial Court.
Also, yeah, of course that haircut
Great
would be
effort
dancing
to
with another
arrange
woman.
tonight's negotiations. Yet one party would use this occasion for blackest treason. The security of the Empire is at stake. Neither one of us wishes to see it fall.
Do we both want that, Lady Floriane?
I hope we are of one mind on this.
In times like these, it's hard to tell friend from foe. Is it not, Your Grace?
I know you arrived here as a guest of my brother Gaspard, and have been
And of
everywhere
course
in
the
past.
Inquisitor leads regardless of gender, which is a little odd, but okay, fair enough.
And a matter of concern to some.
Am I the curiosity or the concern to you, Your Grace?
A little of both, actually. This evening is of great importance, Inquisitor. I wonder what role you will play in it. Do you even yet know who is friend and who is foe? Who in the court can be trusted?
I also love this scene with a dwarf Inquisitor. Because he's like 2 feet shorter, dancing like this, and it's hilarious.
I only trust the Inquisition. It's every woman for herself here in the Imperial Court. Or so I've heard.
In the Winter Palace, everyone is alone. It cannot have escaped your notice that certain parties are engaged in dangerous machinations tonight.
I thought dangerous machinations were the national sport in Orlais.
The court is loving this, by the way.
You have little time. The attack will come soon. You must stop Gaspard before he strikes. In the Royal Wing Garden, you will find the captain of my brother's mercenaries. He knows all Gaspard's secrets. I'm sure you can persuade him to be forthcoming.
We'll see what the night has in store, won't we?
All right. All that approval should give me
You'll be
plenty
the
of
talk
time.
of the court for months. We should take you dancing more often.
It's a relief to do something other than fight demons and horrors.
You still face demons and horrors. These ones are simply better dressed.
Were you dancing with Duchess Florian?
More importantly, what happened in the servants' quarters? I heard there was fighting.
I hope you have good news. It appears the peace talks are crumbling.
Morrigan helped me get
Stick
into
with the
servants'
information that we
quarters,
have.
where I found a group of Venatori and Gaspard's dagger.
The man would truly do anything to become emperor.
Then, the attack on the Empress will happen tonight.
Warning Celine is pointless. She needs these talks to succeed, and to flee would admit defeat. Then perhaps we should let her die.
Whoa! Whoa!
I thought we were here to stop the assassination.
Listen to me carefully, Inquisitor. What Corypheus wants is chaos. Even with Celine alive, that could still happen. To foil his plan, the Empire must remain strong. This evening, someone must emerge victorious.
And it doesn't need to be Celine. She's right.
Do you
Guys, stop
realize
it.
what you're suggesting, Leliana?
Sometimes the best path is not the easiest one.
No, it's definitely the Empress.
We came here to save Celine.
Then you must not only save her life, but also her empire.
Yeah, okay.
That
There we go.
means giving her a victory over both Gaspard and Briala.
If there truly is proof Gaspard's in league with Corypheus, that would be a start.
What did Duchess Florian tell you?
She said Gaspard's mercenary captain is in the Royal Wing, that he knows about the assassination.
Which could be a trap.
Or a lead. Either way, you should search the private quarters.
Probably
and have
both.
clues.
Then get me access, and in the meantime, get your soldiers into position.
At once. Be careful, Inquisitor.
Okay. Well. That is, I think, all we're going to have time for tonight. We only have about 5 minutes left, and like I said, I have some other stuff to do tonight. I have video to record, edit tomorrow, upload hopefully by tomorrow night. If not, then certainly over this weekend. I need it out for class next week, so that'll get done. I'm also hoping, like I've said, to work on that that social norms and trolling one involving Norm Macdonald and Adam Sandler type stuff. The jester hero thing. I'm hoping to get that done eventually, soonish, when I get to it. I do have class stuff to put out first. Like I said, it's the this imagination and understanding one. So that one is coming soon, tomorrow or Saturday, coming very soon. Expect that one. Otherwise, I am hoping, at least, barring more unexpected strangeness, whether that's Valentine's Day or whether that is another encounter with food poisoning or whatever it was. Eric is convinced it was just like a 24-hour stomach bug, but I don't know. Someone put mayonnaise on my sandwich, so it may have been food poisoning. What I think, at least. I love blaming mayonnaise whenever possible. In any case, whatever it was, I am hoping at least to get back to the ordinarily scheduled stream for Greedfall on Monday night. The second to last day of Mardi Gras, so once again, we'll be doing a little celebration, doing a little streaming, getting together, doing our thing, having a good time before Lent begins, and then next Thursday, we'll be back here with the more somber task, I suppose, of unmasking an assassin. And then on to whatever else. So, thank you all for joining me tonight. And I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I hope to see you all next time. So, thanks again. Good night.